tight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by BlackRifleCoffee.com. Welcome to Ross Patterson Revolution, 200 episodes, Jabes.
Deuce.
200 episodes. That's over 200 hours worth of content.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's crazy that people are still listening to us.
1.2 million listeners, to be exact.
That's crazy.
We are unbelievably grateful to you. When we started this a year ago, I didn't know. I didn't know how big this would get. I had no idea that people would stick around, and the audience continues to grow and grow and grow. I mean, we were number 3 in the charts a week ago. It's insanity, and we sincerely want to thank you. This has been an unbelievable ride, and we have no plans to stop anytime soon.
No,
ever. So this is going to keep going forever and ever and ever. A lot of you have asked us if you're doing something special for the 200th episode. And because we did for 100.
Yeah.
We had the scissor challenge, which was awesome. I don't even know how long that episode went. But
it turned into a 90s phrase challenge as well.
It was really funny. And it was a great episode. And everybody's been asking, like, what are you guys doing for 200? For 200, there was a guest that, for me personally, meant a lot in my life. I'm a big sports guy. Everybody knows that. Played sports growing up. My favorite coach was a coach named Bobby Knight, arguably one of the most famous college coaches of all time. In my opinion, he's one of the greatest. Some people say John Wooden because he won more championships. It was a different era when Bobby Knight coached, but he was the most entertaining, fascinating coach to me, and I enjoyed his whole attitude towards life and press conferences, and I always found him unbelievably hilarious and blunt at all times. Never in a million years did I think that he would come on and do the show. You were here with me today. I wanted to thank you personally for allowing me to go and do this show, because to give you guys a backstory about what you're about to hear about me interviewing Bobby Knight. This was a guest that I had requested probably 5 or 6 months before. I hit up his agent and didn't hear anything back. A guy by the name of Ryan Fitterman, who runs Fitterman Sports. It's a memorabilia and marketing company. They've got a shop in Houston, Texas. He does a lot of work in Vegas. He's got a ton of big, huge clients. And it was a massive help to get Pete Rose on the show. And he just so happened to one of his first gigs was with Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
So I saw him online and I hit him up and I said, hey man, you have Bobby Knight. I tried to get him on the show. Like, this would be amazing. Bobby Knight doesn't do interviews. I can't name the last interview he's done on television and or radio in real life. He just doesn't want to do them. Recently, there was a 30 for 30 that just came out about him. He had nothing to do with it. I found that out in the interview. I don't know why. Maybe because they were too afraid to approach him or whatever. This was one of the first times that I had to actually submit questions to the guests.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I try not to get into the habit or policy of doing that, simply because it limits you on what you can ask, and I don't want to do that for the audience. Right. However, in this case, I said, yes, I would do this because it's Bobby Knight.
Right.
I submitted questions. Some of the questions were scratched by the agent. Nothing too crazy. But I wanted to dig into his life, on who he was as a person growing up, how he got into coaching and all of that stuff, instead of focus on the negative shit of, throwing the chair across the floor, which is awesome.
Yeah, I don't even see that as a negative.
I don't now, but everybody asked him about it. So it's one of those things where it's like he's tired of it.
Sure.
And I got him to sign a picture of him throwing the chair for myself personally,
huge, yeah.
which is amazing. But I'm sure he's tired of hearing that.
Yeah,
we already know the story, and we're kind of over it. Him choking the kid out. Fuck, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I've heard the story a million times. To me, he's getting older in life. He was walking a little slower when I saw him, but his mind is extremely sharp.
Oh, yeah.
I figured I wanted to get to know the real Bobby Knight, where he came from, what he enjoyed, what his life was like coming up. And I just wanted a different spin on it. So that way, anyone who listened to this interview about his life got a glimpse at the real Bobby Knight and who he was and where he came from, and how gracious he was for his life and his job opportunities and all of that stuff. And I would say this, I partially got the interview probably because I went to Ohio State. Okay. We were the same alumni.
You guys run deep.
We run deep, and he was open and willing to talk about Ohio State a lot, and that's something that he had asked for. So he had obviously felt a deep affinity towards Columbus and the school, and was gracious enough to do that. I would say the other reason he agreed to do it was they had asked me personally, "Hey Ross, what do you stand for in life, or what are the people you try to help, or who listens to your show and everything else?" And I said, "Look, I'm a big fan of the military, I'm a big fan of our veterans, and I'm a big fan of first responders." And they said, "Great, that's Bobby's main thing as well."
Nice.
He was in the military.
Which
I didn't know. I knew he was a coach at West Point, but I didn't know he was actually in the military. And he was like, "Awesome, man. Bobby likes that." The last thing is, what's your feelings on Trump? And I said, I'm pro-Trump,
right?
Voted for him and all that other stuff. And he's like, "Great." Bobby did too, and spoke at an event for him in Indiana and all this other stuff. And I was like, "Oh, awesome." And I think the reason why they asked me this stuff is they were obviously trying to make sure that I wasn't going to throw him under the bus, try to take the interview in a sideways direction. I had no intention of doing that anyways.
Right. But you never know.
You never know. And I'm assuming that's what the pre-questions, that's where they came from in parts. And I don't have any problem with that. The interview went exactly as I hoped. He was amazing and funny and witty. And it was a dream come true. The reason why I really wanted you to be here to discuss this with you was it came at a cost, and that cost was the Jables. It came. I got a